How is everyone? I'm really grateful to be here with you guys and to be part of this event for the last 3 years. Just a quick show of hands. Who came last year? Who came for the last 2 years? So I congratulate you, because innovation is everything to me. It's part of my life, it's part of my DNA, it's everything that I do. And those who are here from last year and the year before, it means it's something important to you. So what I wanted to do this year was a little bit different in the true spirit of innovation. So I want to give you a bit of a recap from 2013 and 2014, because my beliefs about innovation haven't changed. So I don't come here every year and go, great, what's new about innovation for Paul Siderovski? Well, not a lot. So I'm going to give you a recap. But what I'm also going to do, again in the spirit of innovation, is give you a couple tools that I really believe are invaluable and a game changer for your business. Because today is about innovation and going back to your business and putting it in place. I'm going to give you a tool at the end of this to go, how do you go and do it? So, one of the biggest things that I talked about in each breakfast was I wanted you to walk away with a tool so you knew what innovation is right for your business. And that really simply is, and something that I keep harping about if you've been here before, about this thing called context. You have to give context to your innovation. Innovation without context is just heaps of activity, and it may work or may not work. So do you get that? Innovation without context is just a lot of activity, a lot of content, and it may not work. How many businesses do you know try to innovate and they lose their money? Does that make sense? So about 4 years ago, I got super clear on our vision for our business. We did this event, it was a full day thing, and I got super clear, laser focused, and ours is to grow into our potential. That's everything for me, my clients, and my staff. So what I actually did, I got super clear on why I'm getting out of bed every morning. I gave it context. And from there, it actually defines what activity I'm going to do. Okay? So the second thing that I talked about in each breakfast was, so how do I use this tool in my business? So here's our vision. If you come to our office, it's on all the walls, and here's what we do. But the one I want to refer you to, to give you an example, is this one in the middle. We wanted to be the #1 engaged accounting business in Australia. That's our goal. So if that's our context, what activity do I need to do to go and get that? Does that make sense? It's really simple, but people miss this point about, I want to be innovative, I want to do these things. But unless you give it meaning about what the hell you're doing, so how many times people come to me and say, Paul, I hear you've got a table tennis table, you've got a pool table, I'm going to go and get one so I can make the staff happy. That's bullshit. That doesn't work that way. It does not work like that. You must give it context. If you don't, all the activity is just activity, which may work and may not work. So it's a crucial point. So the other thing I talked about was examples of businesses that aren't innovating. So who knows Gloria Jeans? In an industry where coffee sales are growing by 10 to 15% per year, this business declines. Why? Why? Hello? Shit coffee. I swear to you, I've never had a cup of coffee, so I can't vouch for that. So, but they just did not innovate. They could have changed their logos, they just really didn't innovate. It's sad, it's really sad. Blockbuster. So in America, Netflix, I think it is, where you can upstream and upload all your movies and whatever else. These guys must have had their blinkers on, because how could you not see that was coming? And Blockbuster, where are they now? Gone. So, MYOB and Xero, which we'll talk about. When I talk about, who's got MYOB? Who uses MYOB in their business? Put your hand up. Who uses MYOB? Great. So, MYOB had the whole market share. Mate, it was QuickBooks or MYOB, really. But MYOB really captured the market and hammered it. And they did not innovate. And then there's a company called Xero, who'll be speaking today about it. And what did Xero do? Took the whole market because they innovated, and it's part of their DNA. Does that make sense? They have, I think Gary from NAB just said to me, he goes, Paul, I read a stat the other day, I don't know if it's true or not, and I think it's actually higher. Xero right now have 42% of the market share. and they'll confirm for me whether it's right or wrong. So these guys, I'm just trying to give you examples of what didn't work. So, innovation is not inventing. It's a big thing that I harped on last year, because we think that as SMEs, small businesses, we think we need to have these big budgets, so innovation is not for me. It's not true. Innovation is not inventing. So, I then talked about this thing called betterment. And it's a true word. My wife asked me and said, Paul, is betterment a real word? It is a real word, okay? Innovation is betterment. It's just bettering what you do. Better systems, better processes, just bettering what you do. I have a belief, I really am so passionate and believe, that if betterment, or you want to better yourself as a person, in your life, in your business, in every facet, as a lover, as a father, as a friend, in any way, then innovation will show up. I talked about an example about Steve Jobs. So, who's got a Mac, an Apple Mac computer? Yep, hands up. I didn't know this until I tripped over it in my son's room. You know there's a magnetic cord. And Christina told me this story. Where Christina? Yes, you know what I'm taking it for you. So, do you know the magnetic cord and how Steve Jobs came up with it? Because everyone thinks Steve Jobs is a great inventor. Mate, he's an innovator king, don't get me wrong, he's a genius. But do you know how he came up with a little magnetic cord? So he's in Malaysia, in a little room, there's a hot wok on the stove, and there's a kid walking past and trips over the cord. And the whole wok, what does the wok do? Scolds the kid and burn? No, the cord pulled away. And Steve Jobs, because betterment and innovation is part of him, he saw it. Does that make sense? I get excited when I go overseas, and I'm going to go to New York, because guess what? Because innovation is part of my life, I'm actually looking for it. Does that make sense? If betterment is part of your life, you're actually looking for it. So, I then talked about the importance of innovation and the leader. If you're in a small or medium business, and the leader of the business is not innovative, or does not care about betterment, and does not care about innovation, what do you think is going to happen? A fish rots from the head. The leader will rot the whole business. You could have the best staff. So who's an employee here? Who's an employee for their business? Mate, fantastic. So, imagine if you've got a situation where you've got an employee who wants to better in their life, betterments their context, they want to innovate, and the leader's got no interest in innovating. What's going to happen? Two things will happen. The staff member will try, and they'll actually become a leader and take charge, or they'll actually leave. The context of the organisation, the leader is the killer. Fish rots from the head, and it's so important to have that. So, what I want to give you extra this year is to talk about, actually give you examples of innovative businesses and leaders and their contexts. So ours is to grow into your potential. I'm an accounting firm. Saving kids' lives. So I talked about this last year. If I said to you, if you know this, please don't call it out. But if you don't, if I said to you, I have a client whose business is to save kids' lives, what industry do you think they're in? What do you think? I was at a thing yesterday, someone said pool fencing, pediatrics. They actually build skate parks. So you know the skate park at Bar Beach? He builds them all around the country. So his story was, he had a partner, his partner shot up with heroin, he went to his mate's house, he was going to shoot up with heroin, and he looked at his mate, looked at the needle, and looked at his skateboard. And he had to make a choice, and his choice was, I'm going to pick up his skateboard, and he went to become like a champion skateboarder. And he's built skate parks all over the world, like the largest skate park in the world in Shanghai. But you wouldn't know, but that's his context. So everything that he does is to save kids' lives. Does that make sense? So, I have another client, to be the best we can be. You wouldn't even know what business that is. That's Collier's Newcastle. That's all about, that's what they're about. So if that's their highest context, everything will come under. This one's a game changer. I love this one. So, sorry about that. To make it easy for our customer to make great coffee. So when I have a client, it's a coffee roaster. So when they came on, they roast coffee for about 300-400 cafes, and they also had retail coffee shops. After he got clear on his vision, what did he do? What did he do to his retail businesses? He closed them and sold them. Why? Because they got super clear. I'm all about helping my customer make great coffee. Do you hear that? I'm just trying to get the message across. Context is massive. If you do not have this in your business, you have to go and get it in your business. I've talked about this before. I work with Tim Ryan from Alpha Skill. I work with the boys from Momentum, Harry and Dave. This is what is so crucial. Facebook. What's Facebook's context? To connect the world. Everything they do is to connect the world. Every innovation that they come up with is in line with that. So how do you get context for your business? So this is the one that I believe is the game changer. But it's all good for me to stand up here and go, get context in your business, go and get someone. And I really believe you need to get this space facilitated because they need to get it out of your head. So, start with why. So who knows Simon Sinek? Hands up, anyone? Beautiful. So, if you haven't seen this guy or read this book, you need to go and get this book. And I've got 5 copies here that will give us prizes for whoever gives me some good answers later on. So, starting with why at the highest level is crucial. So this guy, Simon Sinek, if you don't like reading books, he's the second highest TED Talk. You know what TED Talks are on YouTube? He's the second highest TED Talk viewed in the world. 22 million views or something like that. So go and watch this guy, but the book is out. Okay? So, this guy's belief is, people buy why you do what you do, not what you do. So people buy why you do what you do, not what you actually do. And I'm going to give you an example. So one of my staff is in here, and about a month ago, sorry, go back. Who has a pet? Does anyone have a pet? Cat, dog, mouse, snake, whatever. Okay. So, Dave went on the internet and he was looking for the GPS tracker for his cattle dog. I can't remember exactly which one. But anyway, he went on, researched all the best technically GPS trackers for his pet. He then went onto this site and thought he found the best one. He had 2 or 3 to pick from. And he went on the website of this one called Pod. So what Pod? And he clicked on their video. And he watched this video and the guy's talking about why he went and invented this thing called the Pod. It was all about his cat had died. There was a note left on a tree one day. Someone said with a picture or something of the cat saying, "This was your cat. I found it. I did this. And he never wanted anyone to ever go through that experience again. So Dave bought the product because of why he did what he did. Does that make sense? People buy why you do what you do. We all try and do the how and the what. That's nothing. That's the content. That'll drop out. Once you get super clear on your why, it'll just drop out. So for me, if you don't have context or a vision for your business and clear goals, then you need to go and get them. I would read the book first. Whenever we do a vision day project for a client, they have to read the book first. Otherwise they can't do it. And when I read this book about 6 months ago, and I came back to my staff and I apologised. I actually apologised and said, called a meeting and I said, you know what, I'm really sorry that I haven't articulated well enough my vision and our why. Is that true? I came back to my staff. And so, to give you an idea, so our whole why is to grow into our potential, for me, the staff and the clients. I came back and tweaked it. And what this book gave me was a belief. So, our whole business is about changing our small to medium business owners' lives by helping them grow into their potential. I have a belief that mum and dads live their life and their identity through their business. If I can help them build a better business, if I can help them in business, I get to change their life. That's what this book gave me. I'm telling you, I went and bought 500 copies for my clients. And as I see my clients, I give them a copy every time. This is a game changer, and it's the tool I wanted to give you to go, how do I get clear on why I'm doing what I'm doing? Read the book. So, I'll leave you with, today, if you do nothing and just sit and listen, you'll get 40% of the info. If you actually write, you'll get another 40%. And if you participate, you'll get the other balance. So at the end, we're going to do a bit of key learnings. I've been to so many seminars around the world, and one of the key things that I love is you're going to listen and hear something differently to the person next to you. So we're going to have these key learnings at the end, and when I think you've done a really good key learning, I'll give you a book. So, but today, please listen with context. Think about your business. when you're listening to these speakers, don't be scared and go, that's not for me. They're a big business. That's a story. That's your bullshit story. Listen and go, how can I put this into my business? Does that make sense? Have a great morning. I'm looking forward to listening to these guys. And thanks for coming. Thank you, guys.